Yeah, you can't get nice ones.
Ready?
All right, it's on.
All right. So one of the common stereotypes founded in a variety of professional sports is the concept that black athletes are more athletic and explosive, while white athletes are smarter and have more finesse. We are here to investigate and explore the causations of these stereotypes and the possible ramifications. So, first question: are you familiar with these stereotypes?
Yes, I am very familiar with these stereotypes. Being a former athlete myself in high school, I am seeing this stereotype played on the field and how it affects roster upgrades and depth chart and things like that. But yes, I am very familiar.
All right. In your opinion, how do you think these stereotypes are formed?
I think first of all, from just seeing it, typically on sports, football, NFL, basketball, you see a lot of black athletes. They're running, jumping. Um, at, they're primarily African American. Also, there may be some biological basis to it. Like I said, a lot of black athletes tend to be faster. I don't necessarily know if white athletes are smarter, but it depends on what your definition of smart is in terms of versus if you think about the quarterback position in the NFL, is Peyton Manning and he's smarter than RG3. Both should be pretty smart guys, but I think that stereotype is formed, based off preconceived notions and maybe stereotypes from the media and things like that. So, but there is some biological basics to it.
Okay, so next question. So media can play a big role in the portrayal of athletes, especially through big name stations such as ESPN. So how do you think the media plays a role in the formation of these stereotypes, and what are the potential consequences?
Well, again, we see that media such as ESPN, they're always, as a normal student, we're not privy to the inside workings of how scouting and other things works in terms of who plays, who doesn't, and what you see is what you get. That's your preconceived notion. So in ESPN, a lot of times you see they have the white guys are typically on the network. They typically tend to be quarterbacks, and which is associated with being smarter. And also the black, it's even down to the analyst. You see, they bring in guys like Trent Dilfer and Steve Young. They're all white. And then you have the other guys who play other positions such as wide receiver, and the more athletic positions are black. So like I said, they do play a role in it because they maybe unknowingly confirm those stereotypes by who they have actually appearing on the station. Also, as well as just showing highlights in general. You can't really help the fact that 10 out of 12 people on the field are black, and the only white guy on the field is Peyton Manning. And that's but the consequences, I'm not necessarily sure if there's any real negative consequences to it. I think that we've seen a growing popularity, and I focus a lot on football because that's what I know. And in football you can directly see it because quarterbacks tend to be white, everybody else tends to be black. But there is a growing amount of African American quarterbacks in the NFL, and also you see, like I said, it used to be a stereotype a few years ago. Well, the black quarterback can't win in the NFL, can't win in the NFL. They can't win the Super Bowl, and why is that? Because they rely on their legs, their athleticism more than their brains, and that used to be a stereotype. But we're seeing now with athletes such as Russell Wilson and Don McNabb and other ones and others that and even a black coach, Tony Dungy, Lovie Smith. You can win in the NFL, and it may like I said, it's starting to be more about what that individual about the individual rather than his race, and I think that's being proven slowly because you're starting to see, like I said, more black athletes become quarterbacks and be in that intelligence position and be coaches and things like that, and win Super Bowls.
All right, so the next question is, so like the greatest structure associated with our study is racism. And so like how do you see these types of stereotypes propelling racism?
Well, I think that it definitely reinforces the stereotype, but I don't necessarily think if there's anything we can do about it, because a person is, regardless of their race, a person is born with a certain gifts of talent. If a guy can go out and catch a ball very well, better than the next guy, black or white, he's going to be the one on the field. So it just so happens that in this society, black athletes are the ones that's able to do that better, and that's just how it forms. There's nothing you can really do about it, and that's my opinion. You're not gonna diminish the product in order to get more fair balance, because then fans don't want to see it. They don't want to see slow athletes. They want to see the strongest, fastest, best athletes that you can put on the field. So I don't necessarily know if that answers the question directly. But in my opinion, I really don't think there's any. I think it does reinforce it, but it's nothing that you can really do about it. It's not really anything that you should really concern yourself with, because that's just how it is biologically, and just how like human nature is in terms of wanting to see the most entertaining sport.
All right. So next question, once again, do you see any consequences in these stereotypes, and what does this mean for athletes and non-athletes? If you don't see any consequences, then you don't. But
I do think that the consequence is this. In athletics, I don't think there's a real consequence to it. But in the outside world, outside of athletics, it does reinforce stereotype that, oh, well, if you see a black person walking around UNC's campus, a big black guy, then he must be a football player. You see? And, well, he obviously can't be smart enough to come here, blah, blah, blah. Or if you see a white guy, walking around, he may be, about the size of a football player. You may just, you don't know whether he's on a football team or not. You don't just automatically assume, So, I mean, there is some negative consequences, because, students who are not necessarily athletes may be associated with it, and maybe, teacher may automatically think, or like just a student may automatically think, hey, this guy's not intelligent as the next person, or he's just an athlete, he don't want to do work, blah, 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 and things like that, and when they may not really be an athlete. So I think there is a negative effect on African Americans who actually do want to come to school and get an education. But it just varies, and it differs, because if you're on a HBCU's campus, you don't get that stereotype. But if you on a predominantly white university, that's definitely a big thing. So, but again, I would say that it's up to the athlete to disprove that, or to the person to disprove that stereotype, and to say, hey, I'm black, but I'm just as smart as the next person by going out and doing the right thing and proving in class that I'm just as smart as everybody else. So I mean, you gotta live up to what the academic standards are for everybody, not just,
Right. Okay, and so you said you used to play football, right?
Yes.
And you used to know football. Have you ever felt that you've been subjected to any of these stereotypes in any way? And if so, what examples? If it's a funny thing, you can say, it doesn't matter. We're editing this, we're copying this, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What do you think? I think this is a question better directed towards somebody white in this situation than somebody black. Because, they're going to automatically... Well, you're right. I mean, I don't know. Well, I think in the world of athletics, if you're black, you're the majority. So you're not necessarily subjected to... unless you want to say that, all black people can run, or all black people are going to be fast or strong or whatever. But if you look at it in that field, most everybody is black. So therefore, the people that's going to be stereotyped are the white athletes who say, well, this guy might not be as fast as the next person, or he might not be able to run or jump, or, and like I said, you can be, what I said before, a white guy may start at quarterback over a black guy because you think the white guy's smarter and can, play the position better just because he's white. And I think it's more of a problem in athletics for white guys than black guys, because black people dominate athletics, and that's just the facts. So.
That was good stuff. Good stuff, Greg. I like it.
When white Greg comes up, shit goes down.
We need some black Greg out here.
Dude, I'm not a fucking